Hello and welcome to the Motivated by Love podcast. I'm your host, Ksenia, and today I have some really exciting news for you. I am changing the name of the podcast to be the Relationship Anxiety Podcast, and I'm going to change the picture, like the podcast picture, that shows up for you. So next week, be sure to look out for a new picture and a new name. And this new name is just to help people find my podcast better so that I can help more people and really just share what I've learned and serve people struggling with relationship anxiety. So, like I said, look out for a name change, changing from Motivated to Love to the Relationship Anxiety Podcast. And we'll also have a different picture. So, super exciting. With that said, today we're talking about the drama triangle, and this has totally changed my life. It's crazy how understanding some things just make it click, and this is one of those things that really provided the most beautiful perspective change for me, and I'm hoping that it can do that for you. Understanding these models will help you show up less in a space of feeling stuck or at the mercy of other people, and more empowered and more of a creator in your story. So without further ado, I am so excited to teach you today about the dreaded drama triangle and the empowerment dynamic. So first, the drama triangle. It is a model of human behavior that was proposed by Stephen Karpman in 1968. So this has been around for a while. And basically it's just like a model of human behavior that shows us what how different people show up in an unhealthy relationship or in like an unhealthy dynamic. So basically, Karpman says that in any unhealthy dynamic, there are 3 different roles that people can play. So he puts them in the corners of a triangle. The 3 roles are persecutor, victim, and rescuer. So the first one is the persecutor. This is basically the bad guy, the villain. The persecutor is controlling. They might be criticizing, they might be oppressive. Basically, like I said, they're the bad guy in the story. The next role is victim. And the victim in the drama triangle is the person who's at the mercy of the persecutor. So the victim shows up powerless. They think they're at the mercy of the persecutor. And they basically just don't feel very much responsibility. They feel like they're stuck. They live in fear, and just really powerless. And then the rescuer is whoever saves the victim, or they're like the knight in shining armor who saves the princess from the villain. So the rescuer basically intervenes and saves the victim from whatever the perceived harm is. And you might think that that sounds like a good thing, but the problem with the rescuer is that by rescuing the victim, they foster dependency. So the victim basically depends on the rescuer to save them, and the victim is still stuck and powerless and relying on the rescuer to come and save them. Now, you might be thinking, this is great and all, but how does it relate to relationship anxiety? And my answer for you is that we create this dynamic in our brains all the time. So you might show up as a victim in your relationship and think that your partner is the persecutor, right? So this is when it's going to be like, oh, if only my boyfriend was better, then I would feel confident. Or if only my partner didn't do that annoying thing, then I would feel better about the relationship and I would know they're the right one. Or you might flip it and you might show up as the persecutor in your brain with your partner as the victim. Maybe you think, oh, I'm just so terrible to my partner. I am so rude to them. I'm mean to them. I nitpick them all the time. And I just can't commit and pour them. If we break up, like I will hurt them so much. This is you putting yourself as the persecutor and your partner as the victim. Another way I see this dynamic show up is with you being the victim and seeing God as the rescuer. This is something I really did. I wanted God to rescue me from any negative emotion. And so in my prayers, I would say, like, God, please help me to know if this is right so that I don't have to feel heartbreak, so that I don't have to regret this choice, so that I don't have to feel disappointed or shame or whatever. And it really, like, I was really relying on God to make my choice for me about who to marry. I was showing up really powerless and just wanting God to tell me exactly what to do and to rescue me from terrible things that could happen in the future. So these are different ways that the drama triangle can show up in relationship anxiety, and many more. I'm sure you can think of many ways that this shows up in your relationship, but it's not super fun. It's not very fun to be in the drama triangle, even if it's just like your brain coming up with the drama triangle and putting different people in the victim, persecutor, and rescuer spot. It's not a fun place to be. And there's this amazing book called The Power of Ted, The Empowerment Dynamic, and it's by David Emerald. It was released in, I think, 2009. But basically in this book, David Emerald talks about what the opposite of the drama triangle is. So he flips each of the different roles of the drama triangle into a healthy roles and a healthy dynamic. So David Emerald starts out this book by describing his life and basically how he was showing up very much in the victim role of the drama triangle. He felt like everything terrible was happening to him and that he had no control over it. And he says that he was just like walking along the beach one day and pondering, like, what is the opposite of a victim? And when I read that, I was like, I don't know. What is the opposite of a victim? Like, I don't know. And he says that he came to this realization that the opposite of a victim is a creator. Just take that in for a second. The opposite of a victim is a creator. Creators, instead of feeling stuck and powerless, they create what they want in their life. They take responsibility, they initiate action, and they are so empowered to create the life that they want instead of being the victim of anybody or anything else. So the opposite of a victim is a creator. After that, he was like, okay, well, what could the persecutor and the rescuer be turned into? Like, if we're going to create a healthy dynamic, what will those roles be turned into? And so he talks about how he's like, well, how would a creator, what would a persecutor be like for them? And he was like, it would be a challenger. So challengers, everyone loves a good challenge. Challenges spark learning. They focus on improvement. They help people develop. And so instead of seeing something as a persecutor, creators see them as challengers. And then instead of having a rescuer who intervenes and saves the day and fosters dependency on them, creators have coaches. Coaches ask questions. They help people gain clarity by giving them the power, but still helping and coaching them along the way. And coaches can look like so many different people. You might have had a sports coach who really empowered you. You might have had a teacher who coached you by asking you questions, giving you the power, not just solving all of your homework problems for you, but empowering you to learn how to solve them. Or you might have had a therapist or life coach who asks you questions and gives you the power to help you find clarity and help you create the life that you want. So, in some of the other examples that I gave, when I wanted God to rescue me and I was showing up as a victim, my whole life changed when I started showing up as a creator and asking God to be my coach, asking God to help me learn how to create the life I wanted, instead of just expecting Him to tell me what to do so I wouldn't have a hard life. My whole energy and whole life changed when I made that switch. I also started looking at things that I thought were persecutors as challengers. So when my partner did something that, like maybe he made a joke that I thought was inappropriate or off color, instead of being like, oh, if he was just different, then I could have the life I want. I could know that this is right. Instead, I looked at it as a challenger and I was like, okay, what do I want to create out of that joke? Do I want to create a conversation with him about it? Do I want to create a little bit more compassion and like patience? Maybe that's what I want to create. Or maybe I want to create understanding for him and that he didn't actually mean anything by that joke. He was just trying to make someone laugh. And in the opposite direction, let's say, like in my past examples before, maybe you picture yourself as a persecutor and your partner as the victim. Instead, how can you view your partner as a creator? And the baggage that you bring to the relationship is just a challenger for them. It's something that can allow them to grow into a more beautiful version of themselves. My husband, when I allow him to be a creator, and when I brought my relationship OCD, he actually used it to become a better version of him. He wasn't at the mercy of my constant questions and asking for reassurance and all the things and all of my doubts. Instead, he was a creator, and he used my struggle to create the life that he wanted. He used it to learn how to be more empathetic and more unconditionally loving. Or when I thought that I could never break up with him because it would just kill him so much, I remembered that he's a creator, and even if we broke up, he would be okay and he would create beautiful things. And that took some of the pressure off of me. So these are just a couple of examples, but I can't tell you enough how this changed me. How going from being a victim to a creator in my life changed everything. It is amazing what being a creator of your life does, the energy you bring to your life, and the things that are possible. Instead of waiting for the right relationship to happen, you create the right relationship. And you get to create it with God as your coach. It is the best feeling. I would love, love, love to help you create the life you want. Go find me on Instagram at Crescenia Claire Coaching and shoot me a DM. I would love to help you create a beautiful life. I would love to hold space for you and help you learn how to be a creator. You are amazing. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.